Alrighty, what is up guys? Evanaldo here. Welcome back. Market update right now. Let's get started with Bitcoin over here on the charts. So obviously a pretty positive day for Bitcoin. It keeps going upward. You know, if we look at kind of our 3-day, the first thing here, 3-day money flow really good, going upward. 4-day money flow good, green dot. So general continuation, especially with the VWAP down below the zero line for a minute now since the end of November. And breaking upward. Now, I was looking at potential trajectories on where we could, kind of end up next. Now, look at this green dot that we've confirmed on our 3-day right here. Last time we had one above the zero line was over here. You had this one too, which was a giant jump up. I mean, that would be kind of insane if we see that. I don't think it's going to be that crazy because we just had that. It's not going to repeat just like that, but it could be something like this, something like this situation, So from the bottom there, before we saw a pullback at all, it went up this much. So let's kind of map that out a little bit. And that would bring us right up to 114. Your next spiral line is going to be at 118. So maybe 114 to 120 by the end of this month could be possible. And then plot twist, I do think that something may bring us down, from that area. I mean, sure, I'd love to see us come up to 150 immediately. That would be like that trajectory, just repeating, that trajectory upward. I'd love to see that. Or actually, that would be, okay, that would bring us up to 140 almost. But, I'd love to see that situation. But I kind of feel like when you look at what happens in the 4-year cycle here, guys, you see that January pullback typically. And then we look at the last one that happened here. When you saw it really come to fruition, it was around the end of January. And from the top there, that was about let's see what that correction was. I think it was about that 30% correction. So that's what I've been talking about for a minute here, guys. If you saw some of my previous videos, I was talking about that 30% correction. Let's say we get up to that 114 or whatever. 30% down would be that 80K. So again, it's not that big of a thing. The thing to realize here is it's not that big of a deal because look at what happened right after that correction. You just went kind of parabolic some more, and then most of your run was over. We saw alts do really well into the end of the end of 2021, but a lot of the run was obviously over for Bitcoin there. I think it would be more extended this time, more extended situation potentially into 150K by the end of the year. That's what I'm kind of looking at. So, but that's my main view here is that we break upward. I mean, you could do like basic technical TA here, and that would bring you up to around 122. Somewhere in that vicinity is what I would think you would end up with within the next 2 weeks, probably by January 25th, within the next 20 days. I could see us generally being pretty good here, generally pretty good. The next big play, I mean, money flow is all pretty good in these lower time frames. Next big place is going to be 105. That's my next take profit on my long. Congrats if you guys took the long, and that was a trade in the Aldo Empire VIP Discord. If you guys are interested, check out the link down below where I give a lot of these trade setups in advance, tag you guys with the stop loss, entry points, take profits. Obviously, I'm not right 100% of the time. I'd be a billionaire in a matter of weeks probably if that was the case, but we have had a lot of really good trades in there. And if you guys want one free month in the Discord, if you sign up there's some good promos too for BloFin and BYDFI as well. If you sign up to the Discord, here's the promo going on for BloFin, which is a pretty good promo. The futures bonuses for the certain deposit and volume trading minimums. You can check that out down below. And 10% cash back on all your trading fees if you sign up with my link. 10% cash back as well on BYDFI if you sign up with my link. And in addition, you can withdraw the bonus that you get and potentially buy one of these items for a minimum trading volume. You can check it out here. I think this is a better promo at the moment. BYDFI is a really good one right now. And January 27th, probably end around the time Bitcoin gets up to 115, 120K. Maybe I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. Anyway, potentially jumping up to 105, I think is pretty likely here. You may get a little sideways action, but potentially jumping up to 105, I think is likely. Ethereum is an important one to talk about. Throughout this little jump up, been kind of choppy on the ETH Bitcoin evaluation right here. But, I think that it's just a matter of time before we can, jump up to these areas. You got the trigger wave right there. I think ETH is going to shine. ETH is going to start to shine, and I think it's going to do that within the next few weeks, next few months here. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. You did hit a pretty decent point in ETH. I'm not seeing anything too bad at the moment for ETH to just, capitulate not capitulate, but to come back down to 3,400. I mean, it absolutely might. You do have the bear div here, but I think the money flow is still good. I think the money flow will prevail on that 8 hour. Here's where it gets a little dicey on that 16 hour. You've been in the green for a while. Now you're coming into the red. So maybe, you know, there's always going to be that bearish case. Here's where you look at this some more. Now I'm getting a little bit, but still, when you zoom out here, you look at this money flow. So like, let's say we come back to that 34. Let's say we even come back to that 33. I think you would hold this for now and then continue forward. Now, let's see. Bitcoin at 105. I think ETH could be at 4,100 potentially. I think ETH would probably outperform Bitcoin if those numbers occur. I'm not sure the exact percentages, but I think it probably would. And then if ETH goes up to 115, I think you get a good shot at old all-time highs. Now, what could happen at old all-time highs? Let's say we hit this towards the end of the month, then you get that 25 to 30% correction here, maybe back down to kind of where we are right now, maybe a little bit lower. That's what I think is going to be absolutely possible here. I'm just curious about where a 30%. Yeah, 3,300. So that's my main guess. If history repeats itself, if history is any indication here, as Ben Cowan would say, or then I think you could come up and then potentially jump down a little bit more. But I think that we're really going to see probably within a few weeks, like I mentioned, probably after this next pullback that we see, we're going to see ETH really do very, very well against Bitcoin this year, I think, into the end of the year. And then the thing too is like just looking at I'm just curious about like the 3-day in terms of money flow. So you're coming into the green there. Let's compare it to the last. That's interesting. So April 20, yeah, you were just in the green on that 3-day for a long, long time there. So according to that, you got some time to go. But I mean, even this one, if we could just repeat something of that nature, that would be a trajectory upward to maybe 8,000, maybe even up to 11,000 into the end of this year, middle to later this year. I kind of don't think you'll go up to 11,000. That's kind of my high, but I think 7,400 is a very obtainable goal here. Solana, obviously the favorite, for a lot of people, the favorite altcoin for a lot of people. Trigger wave on the 4-day. Last green dot you had one there. That was a big trajectory upward. I think that could at least bring you back up to 264, and then maybe from there you see a pullback back down to where we were. 30% drop, and then potentially after that, then you see, I think there's a very good goal would be at least doubling here, in 2025, and I think that 655 would be the next big place. So those are some big numbers, but I think you get a good shot of doubling. I mean, ApeCoin kind of rejecting from this area, half meme, half not, some potential riskier ones, but 4 days really good. I think that shall prevail. We may see some consolidation here for the market, some consolidation, maybe a little pullback, but my view is it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, maybe you could retest, seeing the crime here, that big area, as Gareth Soloway would say, but then hopefully jumping up quite a bit more. If we look at AVAX right here, it's another one I really like. I think the inevitable is you have, kind of this area, you came down, it's kind of this big range, and then you eventually break up to that, and that's your key to all-time highs. So I think you got a good shot at these areas right there. Oh, yeah, I do have a better chart on this. That's that area, and then if you could break above new all-time highs, 240 could be big, even 400 maybe, even close to a 10x potentially. A couple other ones I like. I do have a new trade setup that I am in for crypto.com, and I do think you can continue forward. You just follow this little pattern. Drop down, upward, and then look at these you see those green Heikin-Ashi candles. I mean, you could argue it could be like that, where it consolidates some more and then jumps up. I don't know. I think this time when you look at like 4-day money flow, trigger wave forming, 3-day trigger wave, I think that would bring you up, but maybe some more consolidation before we really break upward. And then your next kind of huge place. I mean, obviously 27 is a big place, but after that, really 41 is your big place. So I think that could do some damage. Do well or do some damage. It's could have multiple meanings, but I think it could do well. Jumping up on Cardano, I think you'll inevitably get to 220 eventually here. So I think that's okay. Others versus Bitcoin, this is everything outside the top 10 of market cap against Bitcoin. A little consolidation here, but I think when you look at the high time frames, monthly bull div, you can't get too much better than that. I think, money flow coming up in a lot of these time frames, that we're generally going to outperform Bitcoin. S&P 500 right now, I think that could jump up. I think that still, should be able, as generally what it does, double bottom right there, jumps up to 6,300 potentially. Polkadot, that's another one that I've been kind of looking at. I know a lot of people, it's been a disappointment. I don't know. I probably, I own a lot of altcoins. It's all about diversification. I think it'll eventually jump back up to $30 at some point. But compared to some other altcoins, who knows? Maybe a riskier play. Chainlink. I know a lot of you guys like Chainlink. I like it too. I think you got a good shot next week to 2 weeks into 28 and then potentially even 34. And then I think after our next pullback, whenever that may happen, that's where things get really, really spicy. Like really parabolic for some of these alts, potentially making new all-time highs within a few months for a lot of these. I could see $80 to 130, somewhere in this corner for Chainlink. Not a 10x, but at least probably 200 to 400%. Polygon, one I think will continue to do pretty well, jumping back up to 62 cents eventually here. I think that's a good shot. I think that's a good shot. And yeah, I mean, look, market still looks pretty strong, looks pretty good right here. I mean, I guess, I wouldn't do it at the moment, but, some people may be trying to short back down to these areas. I don't know. I think it's a little bit risky based on how the higher time frames look. I mean, like I mentioned, I think this money flow kind of prevails here. So I would be more inclined to the kind of the bullish case at the moment right now. Definitely more of the bullish case at the moment for trading these markets. So, I had that Bitcoin win in the Discord. Now I'm waiting for another one that I went. It was, if you want more info on it, link is down below. And like I mentioned, guys, if you sign up to any exchanges down below, deposit at least $100 and open a support ticket with your UID in the Discord. I'll give you 1 free month in there. So yeah, check it out if you guys are interested. I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.